You know, you hear about Darren Aronofsky doing Noah, and those two things really don't seem like they go hand in hand, because Darren is kind of does these very dark, very intense, very like gritty, very real films, and then Noah's kind of, you see this guy with a long beard, and there's the animals going 2 by 2, and there's the dove and the rainbow, and it, you know, it's kind of, you can't really picture it. And then I read the script, and it was just such an interesting take on the story, and I think that's why people are so intrigued by the movie, is just because I think it's a really original take on a genre, on a story, you know, on an idea. So yeah, it's cool.
Grandfather?
Yes.
What are you doing down here?
I think there's value in these bigger scale projects because obviously they have this incredible scope, you know, the ability to create entire worlds, you know, weather events, whatever else, which on a smaller scale you're just not able to do. But then so lovely to work on a more intimate scale, you know, and do those kind of movies as well. So I've been really lucky, and I hope I can continue to kind of switch in and out. I agree. The film has a grittiness, it has an originality, it has a spirit of a director who is used to working with very, very tight budgets, and, you know, a director who's used to having the free rein and the scope to make things that feel truly visionary. And you've given this guy 130 million, and he's created something that is truly epic, and I'm really interested to see how this movie goes down. I think it could serve as a really interesting model to kind of make bolder, more courageous, more daring films.
What do you want?
You don't know your king.
There isn't anything for you here.
I have men at my back, and you stand alone and defy me?
I'm not alone.
I made me think a lot about my own. I already, before I did the movie, I already had a sense that I was someone that was more spiritual than specifically religious. I had a sense that I believed in a higher power, but that I was, you know, more of a universalist, that I see that there are these unifying tenets between so many religions, and I'm really interested in those things that are, you know, more far-reaching than culture, nationality, race, religion. But yeah, so it was amazing to work on the film, and I think it's amazing to make a film that celebrates faith, and that gets a conversation going, because it's such an important subject.
It begins. When they come, they will be desperate, and there will be many.
Take the ark!
I see how hard this was for you.
I think with any text, there's always artistic license. You're always looking at someone's specific interpretation of it, and I think Darren has tried to be very sensitive and has tried to be very mindful. He didn't take the task lightly. It's a very inclusive piece, and I think it is very true to the spirit and the themes of the biblical story. But, you know, if we had gone with what the original story, with exactly the original story, Noah doesn't say anything until he speaks off the ark. You would have been watching a silent film. None of the women are really spoken about in the biblical story. There wouldn't have been any women in it. I mean, you know, you have to, he had to adapt it. He had to adapt it for the screen.